Just want to share a few quick words about Module 5 and Assignment 5, and just maybe get you started on the right foot. So in Module 5, you'll see that we have a link to the A5 CSS Zen Garden, and also a link to the Zen Garden page. When you open it up, you're going to see something like this. And the idea of CSS Zen Garden is that it uses the same HTML file for a whole bunch of different designs. And the only thing that gets changed in those designs is the CSS. So it's exactly the same HTML with a different CSS each time. And you can see here some of the designs. That's the same HTML file. And here's one of my favorite, a robot named Jimmy. That is the exact same HTML with the different CSS. And so the whole idea is to just sort of demonstrate the power of what can be done with CSS and making changes to the CSS file. So we're going to participate in this. And I want to say up front, these designs are better than anything I could produce. And I certainly don't expect anything at that level from any of the class participants. But we're just going to give it a shot and see what we can come up with as far as designs. So the first thing you need to do is if you go into Assignment 5 or A5, what you're going to see here, if you scroll down, is the ability to download an HTML file and a CSS file. Now what I'd like you to do is put those in the directory in PHP Storm, and you'll see they should be called A5HTML and A5style.css. So you have the HTML file, which I don't want you to change, and you'll have the A5style.css, and you'll see right now it's got a bunch of elements that it refers to, but they're all empty. They don't have any CSS style elements in them. That's for you to do. So if you download those files and you put them in your PHP project and you upload them to your website, what you should see is something very plain like this. So this is the starting. This is what the HTML file looks like with no styles applied to it. And obviously it's a huge difference from this, but this actually is the exact same HTML file, if you can believe it. So there's a lot of really great stuff there. And you can look at some of the designs. Some of them are taken down now. Some of them are still live. But again, this is the same HTML. You can see the same words and that sort of thing. But there are a lot of different designs. If you go to view all designs, I suppose that doesn't work. This website's fairly old now, but you can still see some of the designs. This one is really impressive. It's got animations and interactive elements and all kinds of things. I think it's really, really impressive, the stuff that they were able to do with this particular CSS file. So anyway, we're going to start with this. And what I'd recommend first is to get an idea of what you're working with and how to do some of these things is maybe just trying to fill in some of these. So for example, header H1, if I just say color, and that's the code for red, you can see it appears here. I have to save it and upload that. And then if I refresh that, then I can see which thing is being talked about. So when it says header H1, I know that it's talking about this part of the page right here. So if I start playing around with that, ooh, that's ugly color. Let's go with blue. I'm going to go with a dashed border because why not? And let's make it 2 pixels thick and border radius let's just have some fun with it. And I'm going to also put a box shadow behind that thing. Let's go with gray. And let's upload that. Actually, I'm going to throw background color on there too. Background color, let's go with a very light gray. All right, now let's upload that and see what we did here. Okay, yeah, that's pretty ugly. Cool. I'm going to put some padding around that. That'll at least help a little bit. I think it's good if you're doing this assignment to kind of decide on a theme that you want to have before you start digging into it too much. Obviously, I did not do that. But, you know, everybody can kind of do their own thing here and figure it out. If you're really interested in the design aspect of web design or web development, then this is an opportunity for you to really explore how that works. But each one of these pieces here is a different element. So if I want to see what sidebar is, I can just throw a border around it. Okay, so this one has a red border on the sidebar. What's the sidebar? Let's see what it is. Oh, gotta upload it first. So this part is the sidebar. So what we might want to do is throw that on the side there and make it a little bit smaller. So let's go width. Let's go 300 pixels. Let's see what happens if we float it to the right and upload that. Interesting. Oh, forgot my semicolon. That's what it was. That'll get you every time. Don't forget the semicolon at the end of each line. Okay, so there's that now. And it's a little bit squeezed over to the right. So what you can do, if you're really interested, is look at the original CSS file. If you go to the CSS Zen Garden, and you can find it in one of these, you can look at the CSS file. And open that up, and you can see some of the things that they did before. So we've got sidebar here. Sidebar position absolute, margin left 600 pixels, top and right are 0. So let's just copy that, and let's just see what happens if I put that in the sidebar here. I'm going to leave the border so we can see where it is. Now I'm going to upload that. This is a great time to experiment, by the way. So look, there's the sidebar up there. Very interesting. Now I've moved that piece of content that was previously down here at the bottom and stuck it up here on top. Obviously, I've got to figure out some of these other elements and figure out how they all fit together. But you can see there's a lot you can do here. So I'd encourage you just to play around and spend some time thinking about design elements, thinking about colors, maybe come up with a theme. And if you get stuck, you can always ask me for help or come in for an office hour and we can work through some of your design issues together. Anyway, have fun playing around.